Hey everyone, welcome to our Jax Full Gameplay Jungle tutorial. Before we start, let's first talk about his items and runes. Currently, this is the ideal setup and feel free to use this as your guide. For better understanding, I will explain the reason why this is the ideal setup. So going to the items, the first item that I would get is Triforce. This energizes best with this kit since you need the Phage for tankiness and chaseability, Zeal for the passive and split push, and the Sheen since his skills are low cooldown, so this is a must item for Jax. The next that we will go for is the Blade of the Ruined King. This increases his lifesteal potential, split push ability, as well as chasing potential when going for 1v1 duels. It also increases his objective taking, which will make him take dragons and barons even faster. Even the towers will be a lot faster once you create your Blade of the Ruined King. The next item was Zhonya's Hourglass. So this could be either steel plated or mercury threads, and usually you would want to build stasis on this, but another possible enchantment for this is teleport. Since Jax is more of a split pusher, and it's something that you could probably use once you get into the later stages of the game, where you just split push and then just steep into the fight, or you just end the game right there. So next would be these last three items are very interchangeable: Guardian Angel, Death's Dance, and Sterak. So usually I would buy Guardian Angel. It would be your safest option if you have a kill streak or Elder is coming. A big objective such as Elder or Baron is coming. So this is the best time to purchase Guardian Angel. If you wanted to play it a bit safer and more flexibility, you could go for Sterak's Gauge since it gives more tankiness and damage overall. And then if they don't have any anti-healing, you could go for the Death's Dance. So usually you would buy either one or two of them first, and then the last items, it could depend. So you could go for Guardian Angel Sterak's or Guardian Angel Death's Dance, and then last item you could either go for Randuin if they have a lot of AD damage, or you could even go for Visage for more lifesteal, or another one that you could go for is Wit's End, since this synergizes with this kit, gives him more attack speed, magic resist, as well as lifesteal. So going into the runes, the setup that we go here is Conqueror, which is his standard rune, since he could easily proc this by just one full combo, 5 stacks of Conqueror. And then the next one would be Triumph. Triumph would give him HP when he's able to execute a target. But another one that you could probably get is Hunter Vampirism. So this is also very good for him, since this works on his kit. He could easily lifesteal with RK and Hunter Vampirism. This is better for sustained long team fights. And then the third one, we could go for Hunter Titan. If they have a lot of tenacity, if they have a lot of CC, you could go for Hunter Titan. And another you could probably go for is Bone Plating to help your early game, especially if you're against strong early junglers such as Lee Sin, Rengar. Bone Plating is another valid choice. And then last but not the least, before I would go for Mastermind here, but now I'm for more the mobility, where Pathfinder shines the most, since most junglers, if not all junglers, this would be the recommended rune for him or her. So with that, let's get into the game. Going to the game, this is where I will teach you the proper mindset, things to do, and what to prioritize when playing Jungle Jax. So before we start, we need to know the jungle matchup. So in this game, we are currently against Jungle Jarvan, which is a better matchup for us, since Jax's weakness is against high duelist champions and early game champions like Lee Sin, Rengar, and the like. So since we're against Jarvan, which is more of a team fight champion, and it doesn't have the strength of an early game duelist, this is an advantage for us since we're gonna be able to scale properly, and we will outscale Jarvan when it comes to the later stages of the game. So we start in the red side, and we always start in the red buff since it helps us clear the jungle much faster if we start on our red. So the clear that I'm doing here right now is the red side clear, which is red buff, Krogs, Raptors, and then we can flex our pathing. We can go bot, invade, Scott, gank mid, or even Scott top. So it depends on the matchup, and it depends on the lane priority. So in this particular matchup, this would depend on the lanes, on which lane would have priority. So this is where I would depend my path, rather than the other jungle matchups, which would depend on who has the stronger dueling potential. Jax and Jarvan are 50-50 when it comes to the duels. And when playing against Jarvan, all you need to do is to dodge the third plus first combo, and you're almost guaranteed to win. So I see Jarvan clearing the mid, going for the top side, and what I want to do is to scale. So I try to go for the bot's cut, but I see that their bottom lane is extended, so I try to prioritize getting a kill. We force the flash, and that forcing a flash is a very successful gank for me, since I could go back and punish the Lux if she overextends. So I assume Jarvan's already top side, taking my scuttler, and he might be invading my blue as well. So I try to take this as soon as possible, and I try to go for the blue buff, since most likely Jarvan would go there. But I see Lux trying to get the Yuumi. She overextends. She has no more flash from the earlier gank, and we get first blood easily. So I go to my blue because Jarvan hasn't shown in the map yet, and I try to take this just in case he goes to my top side. So I see him going to his own blue. So I take it and I just go out. So I get my level 5, I get first blood, I get double buffs, which is very, very good for us. So I decide to go home, since Jax's #1 priority is to farm as much as possible. Your key items to get is the Triforce, the Trinity Force, and the Blade of the Ruined King. Once you get those 2 items, your DPS is done. Your damage will be really high, and you could probably solo almost all of the champions in the Rift, since Jax is one of the best scaling champions. So as I assumed, Jarvan got my blue, but it's okay. I got this blue also, so I just go farm my camps. Even though my mid laner died, it's okay, since I'm more of the insurance policy. As long as they don't die too much, I'm able to get my farm. Things are looking great for us. Okay? So I go back, I don't have my camps. I get my item, my bot camp spawned, so I try to get my camps. So #1 thing you want to prioritize as Jax is always trying to take your camps before doing anything else in the map. Such as, unless there is a guaranteed gank on one of the lanes, you would always want to prioritize your jungle camps first. So when clearing, you would always want to use your second skill before auto attack. So as you can see, if I have my second skill, I'm able to do an animation cancel, which is my auto, second, and then auto attack. And this would help you clear the jungle faster to get your. It also helps with your passive stacks, and the Triforce also stacks with the second skill. So basically, you do the double damage if you combine your second skill and your auto attack. So another thing here is when you get your ulti, this is when your clear speed goes really high. So I see that my Cinch died top, and then instead of going for the dragon, I see another potential gank in the bot side. So I try to get the Lux. So she has no more ulti. I get her down. So Yuumi ties into me. Ezreal is also very low. I see Galio ulti. I have to flash since it's more important to... I shouldn't die in this stage of the game, since the objectives are currently up, and it's more important that I am able to get my items and power spike as soon as possible. So even though they're starting dragon, I know we're behind. Yuumi, me, and Cinch are top side. So I go home. I get my first power spike, which is a Triforce, and I go to the top side since they already got dragon. I'll try to get Herald since I have my power spike. So my team is, luckily my team is coming over. They know that Herald is still up. So we try to go for the Herald. And even though I have no smite, most likely my smite would be up before the objective finishes. So I turn a bit, try to buy time for my smite. And I see Ezreal at the bot side. So I could easily get this objective. We secure the objective. We force the Lux ult. I see Galio overextended by himself. But the mistake that I did here is that my team didn't follow up. So they decided to go back. And I almost died. But luckily my team was able to put down the Katarina. And we're able to get a 1-for-1 exchange. But the bad thing out here is that Ez is able to freely farm the bot side. So what I do here is I try to do a counter play. I try to get the top side, but it's too risky since I'm only half HP and I do not know where the other members are, especially their jungle. So what I do here is I just go back to my own jungle and I farm my camps again, since the second power spike that I really need is the Blade of the Ruined King. Triforce is not enough. Triforce helps a lot with my clears, with my damage, and with my overall kit. But my power spike will increase by a lot once I'm able to farm my Ruined King. So I have my Herald, since if I have my Herald, I'll get a reduced recall, and I try to get my items. I focus on my farm But even though I'm focused on my farm, I'm looking on what lane I could use my Herald, because if you get Herald, you need to prioritize getting the first tower, so it will be worth for a dragon trade. Because if you get Herald, but they get the dragon plus first tower, then the Herald will not be as worth it. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to clear my camps again before I make a play anywhere in the map. So once I get my red, I go for my raptors, then go for my golems. I'm looking at the map. Always try to check your minimap while clearing your camps, so you know what to do next. So I'm checking their items. I'm looking at the map on looking at the minimap. So I decide to go bot. I see Luck by herself. Scuttle is also spawning. I try to get a gank off. She's overextended. She's able to flash my stun, but it's okay. We burned a flash. If he goes extended again, I could easily get her. Okay? So Scuttle has spawned. Jarvan tries to go on me. I'm able to dodge their skills, and things are looking great. So I try to poke Jarvan a bit. I force the Galio ult. I immediately back off since they've used 2 ultimates already for my ultimate. So big ultimates down for the opponents. And then I try to out macro. I go for the mid instead. I see all of them on the bot side. So what I do is I use the Herald mid, so we get the tower. So even though they're able to get our bot tower, look at our top and mid. We get the top and mid. If the mid tower is 3/4 to half, and your Herald is still full HP, automatic the tower will be destroyed. You don't need to stay close for the gold. You'll automatically get the gold. So I get their camps. I try to focus on my farm again, and to get my items as soon as possible. My RK is almost complete. I think I'm only 500 gold behind, and things are looking great for us so far. So Lux, so before you want to go back, every time you want to go back as Jax, it's either you're low HP or you're able to complete an item. So I see my RK is completed, the objective is spawning in 15 seconds, so I go home and I get my second item. So 8 minutes for our Triniverse Ruin King is really fast. Since average, you usually get those 2 items on the 10 to 12 minute mark. So 8 minutes is really good for us. And even though we're not able to get a lot of kills, we're able to get a lot of gold through objective taking. So here, I get the Raptors because I want to stack my passives. So if you look at the bar below the mana, that's where my passive is. And it's important that you stack your passive before going into the clash so that your attack speed will be really high and you could easily put down your opponent. So I kite a bit. I try to buy time for my team. I look for low targets, but I'm a bit low. So this is the problem. The next problem you have when playing Jax is that you're squishy. If the opponent, if you're not able to free hit, and your opponent focuses on you, you won't be able to deal as much damage as you would want. As you saw in the last clash, there were 3 people on me, and I'm not able to maximize my damage. And since we're behind in the clash, I don't want to risk. I'm a bit low, and 2 of my teammates are dead, so I just go for the trade. So I give another dragon for the Herald, but even though they have 2 dragons, it's okay because I am a scaling champion, and even though they have 3 dragons, if I'm able to get my power spikes, if I'm able to get my item, I could 1v9 the game, especially if I have an enchanter support. So I see Lux is out of position, and we get another kill onto her. Katarina tries to greed the Lucian, she gets the Lucian, but I try to get the cat. I don't want to greed, even though I could probably kill her, because I don't know where the other opponents are. So you don't have to greed every kill. So once I see Yumi and Diana coming up, I can greed a bit. Even though Galio comes, I was able to kill her, and we're able to turn the fight around. So you don't have to be super greedy. You just need to use your skills properly. And one thing that's good about Jax is combining the 3rd hit and the skill. So I'll show you, I'll let you guys know later on how to use it properly, to know how to use his burst. So one thing that people don't know about Jax is how to utilize his ultimate effectively on the 3rd hit. So what you usually want to do is hit normally twice, and then on your 3rd attack, you have your ultimate passive, and then you jump, you combine it with your 2nd skill and your ultimate passive. So you have 3 things in one, three hits in one, which is a significant burst damage and could probably put your opponent in half in 1 hit. So with the Trinity Force, 1st skill plus 2nd skill, and the 3rd hit passive, you could easily burst your opponents. That's why Jax has, even though Jax is a DPS, he really has heavy burst potential as well. So here, I show you how strong the Ruin King is. Even though our opponent is Ezreal, we're able to easily chase him down and get the kill. And this is where Jax shines. So I go for the third item GA here because I'm ahead. And it helps me become a bit greedier in team fights. Since even though even though they take me down in the team fight, I still have a second life. And by that, if I'm able to use the GA properly, my team would be able to easily free hit and put them down while I'm in my Guardian Angel. So usually you would want to go GA if you're ahead, since you don't want to give your bounty, and you don't want to so it helps you become more tankier and gives you a second life in team fights. So you don't have to play super safe once you have a Guardian Angel. But of course, you don't want to use your Guardian Angel without anything in return. So I see Galio. So this is where I greed. I use my ultimate, and I know I have GA. So usually I'll go back even though they use their skills on me. It's okay. I still have a second life. I still have my stasis, and I could just go out just like that. So if I didn't have my Guardian Angel, most likely I would have died, and I burned a lot of their skills. So my team is able to use their skills, and we're able to turn the fight. So I go back in, and one thing that's really good with Jax is an enchanter support. So it could be Yuumi, Janna, or Lulu. So these champions make Jax even stronger, especially with the Ardent, since Ardent gives attack damage and attack speed, which are two stats that synergize very well with Jax. So Jax comes online at level 13. So level 13, once you have your level 3 ultimate, it's the most broken skill in the game since it gives armor MR and damage. And if you combine it with your other skills, which is your passive, your first skill, and your third skill, which makes you dodge basic attacks, it's really strong. And this is where you can 1v9 the game. With Stasis, Guardian Angel, you're very tanky as well as very strong, as very strong DPS. So even though they're able to get you low, if you have a Yuumi Lulu, you could be even tankier. And here, look, as you can see, they can't do anything even though there are 4 people. Even though if they get me low, I just Stasis out, and then I could just go back and fight them. So one thing to note is that you could always auto attack before using your second skill, even in team fights. So you could stack your passive faster, you could utilize your ultimate, and it's very good for attack and cancel animation. So 4 people are down, and another thing that's really good about Jax is he could easily take down Baron. So you just need one person with you, and Baron will be very easily taken. So once we get the Baron, so we're 9-0, we can basically 1v9 the game at this point. And most likely what we need to just do here is split push, since no one can handle us whether I have my Yuumi or not. So luckily I have Yuumi support, which is very good synergy with Jax, since she could just stick on me and no one can burst me, even Katarina. So in my next back, I get my Sterak's, since this would give me more tankability, and it would make me more tanky. I also considered getting Death's Dance, but I saw Ezreal has Executioners, and Death's Dance would be less effective since a lot of people would be getting anti-healing since there is a Yuumi. If there's a Yuumi in the game, expect people to get Mortal Reminder, Morello, Oblivion Orb, Executioners, those things that can reduce their healing. So I go for the Sterak's, which is a better choice since it gives you a shield once and damage as well, which is very good for us. So my team is very strong now. I can just go in 1v5, even though I'm the carry. I can also play as the tank, and this is what makes Jax super OP. So I have Yuumi with me. I'm just diving the tower. We're getting easy kills. My Sterak's procs. And even though I 1v4 with them inside the base, I'm still alive. With my Sterak's, I'm able to get my not die easily. So Yuumi, she's just sticking with me, and this is why Jax's late game is very OP, since he can do everything at once. He can initiate, he can burst, he has strong DPS, and he's very tanky as well. So with Baron, I'm just looking for an opportunity to go in. I see Ezreal out of position, you always want to use your third skill. So one thing to note is how to use your third skill. So you can either use it for stun, or you can use it to buy time, and the enemy opposing ADC cannot burst you down. So it's up to you on how you would want to use it. And with that, we easily carry the game, and that is it for our Jax gameplay. Before I go, there are 3 tips that I would like to share with you when playing Jax. The first is farming. The most important thing about Jax is that he needs his items before he can go online. The earlier you can get your items, the faster you can 1v9 the game. If you think your team cannot win an objective, it is better to trade or just go for the side lanes in order to get your items. My second tip is his third skill usage. His third skill is very important in team fights because it allows you to zone your opponents since they can't hit you. So try to stall the third skill as long as possible before using the stun. The only time you would want to use the stun early is when you are ganking a lane or chasing your opponent. My third tip is his combo usage. You would always want to auto-attack before using the first and second skill. Utilizing his passive and ultimate is also important when it comes to clashes. As much as possible, you would want to stack your passive before going in a team fight. And that is it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and comment down below on what jungle you would like to see next. Thanks for watching. Ciao, ciao.
I'm finally facing it all, fearless.